Hey there everybody, Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter.
This video is our Survivor Winners at War episode 9 promo discussion. You guys have seen the promo. We're going to talk through it, go about what Nick's apparent plan for vengeance is. By the way, Nick, don't proclaim your plan of vengeance too loudly. It will come back to bite you.
It seems to be fire!
Yeah, we have more memorable Adam confessionals, which, by the way, I think Adam is slowly losing it in the confessional room the more this season goes along.
I love his confessionals. They're just entertainment gold right now.
Yeah, they really are. And I like how I'm still calling it a confessional room like this is Big Brother. But anyway, I mean, Big Brother haters, don't come for me. But anyway, yeah, we're going to talk about what is in the promo, what to be excited about, what we're nervous about before we dive in, though. If you guys like this video, remember to give us a like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and also check out our full reaction to tonight's episode. The link is in the description below. All right, though, let us begin with Nick. What we saw from Nick in David versus Goliath.
Yep.
He gets a little bit, we talk a lot about, like, Cranky Wendell this season.
Yeah.
Nick gets really cranky when things don't go his way sometimes, and it seems like he is, like, all in on the vengeance tour. You have gotten rid of Wendell, you now shall feel fury.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand kind of where he's coming from. Not really about, like, oh, you guys got out Wendell, but more along the lines of, I did not know what was going on. I was blindsided. I was left in the dark. That ain't good. I gotta figure out what's going on and take out some of the ringleaders of what happened over here with this Wendell vote and why I was left out of it. Because if Nick is able to figure that out, figure out who kind of was the ringleader of this or some of the big players in it, get them out, then maybe he can get himself back on the right side of the numbers.
Instead, it feels like Nick is just going meow with some of his game right now, because we have in this confessional, this is just a conversation between him and, it looks like him and Michelle.
Yep.
He mentions Sarah's name, and then eventually somehow this gets back to Sarah. I don't know if this is there was someone else in that conversation we didn't see. Michelle is worried about herself. She goes and throws Nick under the bus.
Yeah, I mean, it could be either way. It would be very interesting if Michelle just realizes she's on the wrong side of the numbers and she needs to do something about it by trying to make some sort of real strong inroads with Sarah by going to her with that information. It would be very interesting.
Michelle's in a curious spot now, too, because I think so many people, myself included, I really felt like, okay, Michelle is getting all this airtime. They're talking about her as this big underdog. Maybe she's going to go really far, but she's in a really not great spot now where, I mean, if the numbers hold, which they probably won't, her and Nick are at the bottom.
Yeah, they are. But I mean, if she can figure out a way to kind of just, spread out the social game just a little bit more, then she might be all right. And I mean, at this point, Wendell's gone. If they're targeting Nick, which they might be, I mean, Nick's name has been out there a lot in this episode that just passed. So, I mean, it could be coming up again. Then she'd be kind of a free agent and not someone that people would be immediately worried about. So maybe they could scoop her up.
I would be worried about Nick if I was in the game, because Nick is kind of like a sneaky good challenge player. He won a lot at the end of David versus Goliath. He did really well in the immunity tonight. I think he's capable of finding idols, of working people.
Yeah, and we also saw him tonight, sort of that idea where he's kind of always there and he's always part of the conversations, and people aren't always stopping their conversations. So, I mean, he's got a lot of information.
Oh, wait. I think Nick is actually coming around here, and he's, Nick, we gotta finish this. Okay, yeah, no. Corny jokes, I'm sorry.
You're not sorry.
I'm really not. But anyway, yeah, Nick, he's doing a lot. I think he's doing too much, apparently, at times, if people are really getting aware of him. But this idea of Sarah now finding out about this, Sarah is so dangerous in so many ways. She's got an advantage. She has a lot of allies. She's got Cops R Us.
Yep, and on top of that, I mean, Tony now has this other alliance that's building up a little bit. So, I mean, if Sarah was really in trouble, I think he would pull from that if he's able to. He doesn't want to lose Sarah. I mean, Sarah is a very dangerous person for Nick to go up against right now, and being quite that vocal about it.
This is what makes, I think, this season really fun, is trying to actually understand all the different alliances, because we have the big targets, or as you have coined it now, the ladder lads, which I think is spectacular. And then in that ladder lads, you have Tony, you've got Tyson, you've got Jeremy, you've got Ben. But then you look at all of them, I would say Tony's number one is still probably Sarah. I think Jeremy and Michelle, they were really close earlier in the season.
They were.
I mean, Ben was pretty close with Denise. Like, is anybody in this guy's alliance, like, are they actually each other's number ones at all?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they're all kind of just like, yeah, we're going to be this big alliance, but they all have their number ones with them, which makes them even more dangerous, because it's like, okay, if the four of them can then just target everybody that's not their number ones, then afterwards they can deal with each other.
Yeah, and if Ben and Tony and if these guys in here, if they're able to pull in, say, Denise, if they're able to pull in Sarah, they're able to just kind of get together enough numbers over there, like, they can actually control the game. Jeremy brings in Michelle, but Survivor's never that easy, and I don't think we're going to be in for that predictable a game coming up.
No, I don't think so either, especially with someone like Denise, and a lot of people are really seeing her as a big threat. I can see that they're going to still want to get rid of her.
I would say that right now, Denise is probably really high up on the list of people I'm the most worried about. I think it is her. I think it is Nick. I think it's, well, I want to say that it's Jeremy, but Jeremy has that peace out advantage, which
he does.
I don't think it lasts for too much longer, but I think it's still applicable now. We haven't seen a confessional of him talking about it ending yet, so I think he's probably going to play that. I mean, if this sort of ladder lad starts to fall apart somehow, or if people want to take out a big target, then it sort of is, and I'm not really considering Ben to be on that same level with apologies to Ben.
He thinks he is.
It sort of becomes then, okay, if we want to get rid of a big guy, do we get rid of Tony or do we get rid of Tyson? And I think that's an interesting debate in itself.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, Tyson right now, I think nobody's really that worried about him, because I think collectively as a group that they all know that they need to get rid of Tyson at some point. All his friends are on the jury. They're not going to want to sit with him at the end. But I think because everybody really understands that, Tyson can then go at any point as long as he doesn't win immunities to the end.
Tony is just a Survivor wind-up toy, and he has been wound up and wound up and wound up for so much of the time this season that if you don't get rid of him, he's just going to, like, go all directions and explode all over the place, and that's not going to be good.
I just can't believe that he's really nobody's target. Nobody's talking about him. How is this happening?
I have no idea. Like, I didn't necessarily think Tony would be the merge boot, but I thought it was going to be, oh, hey, look, it's the guy who completely dominated Cagayan to such a point where he's become this dominant player. Oh, no, we're fine keeping Tony in the game. That's okay.
He's done such a great job of sort of just making himself be the goofy fun guy, you know? Hey, I'm just here, make everybody laugh and have a good time, and all, like, I can't even believe that he has sort of convinced everybody that he's just this goofy fun time Survivor guy.
Yeah.
He's so dangerous. I don't get it.
Yeah, Tony's just got to be careful. He can't like unwind himself too quickly. He's got to like time it properly. Otherwise, he'll go pretty soon after.
The only thing I worry about Tony is by continuing to sort of play this particular game, he's going to get far, but then I don't know when it comes to the end and it's like, all right, well, explain yourself. What did you do?
Yeah.
Oh, I built a ladder and I had this fight with a shark and I did a foot race by myself on the beach. Like, what do you have? And we're at the point in the game that Tony needs to start making some kind of moves that he'll be able to explain himself to the jury. It's past time.
Yeah, and especially when we've got people like I believe Sophie, who can at least claim at least a number of different things. I think she can claim in part the move that's going on tonight. I think she's played a pretty strong game to date. Michelle has found a way to survive some particularly tough circumstances. You know, Jeremy lost a really key ally early on. A lot of these people have interesting arguments from this season. Now, we do see in the preview at the end, Adam in the midst of, like, I don't know what he's doing in this confessional, but he basically talks about somebody is playing with fire and going to get burned.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously the edit is supposed to make us think that he's talking about Nick, but I don't really know why he would be that upset about that. I mean, he's not really working with Nick. So unless something has changed in this episode that we haven't seen yet play out, I feel like Adam's got to be talking about somebody that it will affect him in some kind of way, that he's just like, oh, this person's getting too close to it. Stop it before you burn us all, kind of that feeling. So I'm very curious of who he's actually talking about.
Here is my immediate, possibly wrong prediction.
All right, let's have it.
He's talking about Jeremy. Because he and Jeremy were at one point reasonably close on this LA tribe. I know it changed as it sort of went along, but they do have some sort of relationship. Maybe they could sort of find a way to get back together. Maybe Jeremy's doing a little bit too much. He's kind of worried because he's just lost Wendell.
Yep.
I can't imagine it being Tony, just because Adam and Tony don't seem to have any relationship at all. I can't see it being... I mean, Nick is a little bit hard to really come to grasp with that either.
Yeah.
Tyson, he doesn't really have a relationship with Tyson.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's the part of the preview that I was the most interested in. Like, who is he talking about? Because he's talking about it in such a way that whatever he's talking about, it's going to affect him.
Yeah, and so right now, and I'll do the rankings over the weekend, I'll try to figure a better sense of this, but it's like the people I'm the most worried about Denise.
I'm worried about Nick.
I'm worried about Nick. I'm worried about Jeremy. I'm probably going to be worried about Tony for the remainder of the season, just because it can all blow up on Tony at any given moment.
It can, but man, nobody's talking about him, so yeah. I don't know.
But I think we're going to be in for a really good rest of the season. But what do you guys think is coming on Survivor Winners at War, Episode 9? Be sure to let us know in the comments. And if you do like this video, remember to give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the store. And we'll see you here next time.